Good evening, everybody. We're coming to you live on Facebook from Congregation Beth in Missouri City, Sugar Land, where we meet every Thursday evening throughout the entire summer, by the way. Every single Thursday night we have class, and we get together for a lovely, lively discussion on various Musar topics. You're welcome to join us here. It's free, no membership required. I wanted to talk a little bit before we begin our regular class to discuss a Torah thought that is relevant to today's current events. As many of you may know, there was a hearing in Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. that was captivating the media throughout our country and many, many other countries as well, because it related some key figures in our country. And something hit me today. You know, you have the FBI, and you have the former head of the FBI, and you have the president, and you have the what's her name, Loretta Lynch. What was she? She was the Attorney General, former Attorney General. And you have all of this going on. And the real question to me is not who's right and who's wrong. That to me is irrelevant. The question to me is, are we taking a message from this to seek truth? And I think that in our lives, the Torah is constantly focused on Torah emet. The Torah needs to be truth. And you know, it's very interesting. In the Talmud, we have many discussions about, thousands of different topics. And in each one of these topics, we have multiple opinions. And we have opinions ranging from every side. But everyone, what boils down to is not just like, well, I feel like that. This is what it makes me feel. But rather, you have to source everything. Everything needs to be sourced in the Torah on a higher. It's got to go up the food chain. From halacha to Talmud. Halacha is based on the conclusion of a discussion of the Talmud, which is trying to understand the Mishnah, which is based on a verse in the Torah. So it's not just arbitrary. Well, this is the way I feel. Why? Because that's the way I feel. No, you have to have something concrete that's going to back it up. What is the most concrete of all? The Torah that God gave us. Asher natan lanu torat emet. We get the blessing that we say is that God gave the blessing we say for the Torah. We say that God gave us a true Torah, the absolute truth. And I think that it's imperative for us to take a message about seeking truth. It's not about my side being right, the other person's side being right. It's about truth. And I think that gets lost today in this political fog. Well, if I'm a Democrat, then this. And if I'm a Republican, it's this. And if I'm a Libertarian, it's this. It's like, and everybody's pulling to their side. It's like, you ever wonder, to me this is an unbelievable anomaly of how this is possible. Yeah. How is it possible that you see someone diving into second base, okay, and you have people standing right there, and you have in the crowd, fans from both teams, and the ones who want him to be safe, they saw him safe. And the ones who wanted him out, they saw him out. And they're both fighting, yelling, screaming on top of their lungs, he was right, he was wrong, he's this and that, right? Safe, out. And everyone, how is it possible? Right? That's, by the way, why we need umpires. Right? You need someone who's going to be hopefully a non-biased and a neutral opinion, who's going to say, this is what I saw. I may be wrong, but this is what I saw. And it's really amazing that two people standing at the exact same place can see a totally different, again, in their opinion, something totally different just based on their own bias. Right? I want him to be safe, so I saw him safe. You wanted him to be out, so you saw him out. And to me, that needs to be, I think, the lesson from all of this, is for us to learn not about politics. It's much greater than politics. It way supersedes politics. We need to be seekers of truth. All of Torah is based on truth. There's nothing that should be more important to us than absolute truth. Now, there's this idea that if there's a truth, you have to live by that truth, otherwise you're living with a lie. That's true, but in Judaism that's not necessarily the case, and I'll explain what that means. So if a person knows about the truth of Shabbos, they know that there's a God. Let's start with that. We established that, we all believe in God. Does everybody in the room believe in God? Yeah, okay, so we've gotten first base. Everyone agrees that there's a God. Now, we believe that God gave us a Torah. We believe God gave us a Torah. We believe that God gave us commandments in that Torah that we need to observe. Yes. Does that mean that now, if I don't observe one of those commandments, that I'm living in a contradiction? Well, it depends if I'm ready for that. Right? And a person needs to be ready for that. One of the big cardinal sins in Judaism is jumping. You can't jump. Right? If a person's not at that stage and they're not ready to undertake certain responsibilities, especially in our observance, we have to be in a steady pace of growth, and we can't, just sit on a beach chair and say, yes, I know I'm supposed to do it, but I'm not. There is a difference, though, with one saying, I know I need to be growing, I'm not there yet, I'm planning to be there, I'm working on it, versus saying, no, that's not what God meant, because it's not comfortable for me. Right? We understand? So there is a difference between knowing what the truth is, and I'm just not there yet, versus changing it just because I don't like it, or just because it makes me uncomfortable. It's a very, very big difference. So I think that especially in our world that we're living in today, it's very easy for us to hide behind our political views and judge by whatever our party decides. But as a Torah Jew, we need to realize that the truth has nothing to do with our affiliation of party. It has nothing to do with our membership. It has to do with what is emet. Aleph, Mem, Taf. Those are the three letters in the Torah. The beginning, the middle, and the last letter. And they all have, each of those three letters have two legs. Yes?
What would the Torah say about when they're voting on the health care bill, Obamacare came along, no Republicans voted for it, not one. And then when this new law passed, not one Democrat.
Right. So I'll discuss that as soon as we're done with the broadcast. No, it's no problem. I will discuss that in a particular. I actually have a strong opinion about that, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to share it online here. But I think the number one point that we need to drive home here is that truth shouldn't be based solely on our affiliation. Truth has to be some. That's why we had a bet din, we had a Sanhedrin. The idea is that we need to have an entity of truth that is not based on our own prejudice. It's not based on our own bias, and that's, to me, I'm not getting into who's right and who's wrong. Did he say the truth? Did he say that? Did he do this? That it's all. You can watch whatever station you want tonight, and they're all going to be talking about it till ad nauseum. Okay, ad nauseum. Probably Monday afternoon they'll change topics. But I think what we need to see, the lens we need to use when we see all this is what is truth. What is truth? Not whether or not I like it or not. What is truth? Right? And then try to live in that truth. I mean, I think as aspiring Jews who want to grow and we have to focus on truth and how we're going to get ourselves to be acting in that way of truth, and not to start changing things because it doesn't fit my comfort zone. So that's the message over here, and I hope our friends on Facebook. If you enjoy it. and you agree, even if you don't agree, just like it and share it. But I think it's an important lesson for us to recognize that the Torah is absolute in its truth. Asher natan lanu torato torat emet. God gave us His Torah, a Torah of truth. Right? And now we have to bring ourselves to that truth. If we know, and every person, is no person that I know who's perfect. We all are striving to reach our perfection, each one in their own way, to try to reach that perfection. What's the absolute perfection? That's the Torah itself. We're all striving to get to our perfection. That one person needs to their observance in prayer. One person needs to enhance their observance in Shabbat. Another person needs to enhance their observance in kosher. Another person in their speech. And everyone has a different area that they need to focus on. We all need to work, and that's again our motto in all of these classes. Is we can't. Our enemy is stagnation, and we can't be stagnant Jews. We have to be growing Jews, Jews who are changing and becoming better, connecting more with that truth. With that, my friends, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to continue here with our regular programming. Have a lovely evening and a good Shabbos.